Hello and welcome back to The Blitz, your weekly high school football show brought to you by First Federal Savings of Lorain. I'm Marissa McNeese with the Chronicle Telegram, back as always with my partner behind the camera, Kristen Bauer. And The Blitz is on location again this week. Today we're in Amherst at Mercy Health Stadium to talk about all things Lorain County High School football. If you can believe it, we are halfway through the regular season. Playoffs start just a few weeks away, October 9th, and with just a 6-game regular season, we're cruising right along. We're halfway through, and we have a ton to talk about looking back at week 3. So, keeping with tradition, let's get right to it. We're in Amherst. Let's talk about the Comets. A big win for Amherst this week, 28-24 over Berea Mid-Park. A conference win, an SWC win for Amherst, who struggled most of the game. It wasn't pretty, and quarterback Tyler Brazina did tell our Chronicle Telegram reporter after the game the team wasn't on. They weren't feeling it for most of the game. In fact, Brazina was just 3 of 18 for 11 yards up until the final drive, where with a minute 39 to play, Comets drive 55 yards. Brazina goes 4 of 6, capped off by a Mackey Purdue 1-yard run, and the Comets pull off the 28-24 win. Puts Amherst at 3-0 in the SWC and sets up a huge showdown with Avon Lake this week, who also is creeping up the SWC standings. Let's shift things over a bit to the Lorain County League, where Keystone continues to dominate, beating Black River 34-3. And if we thought the Wildcats were exciting to watch last season, they have been all of that and more in 2020. We have to talk about Gideon Lampron. First time all season, granted, only been 3 games, but first time he hasn't had 200 yards rushing. Still, he had 2 touchdowns in the first quarter alone, including a 48-yard run, and finished with 144 yards. But he wasn't the only one. The Wildcats scored on their first 5 possessions of the game and are now 3-0, tied with Firelands atop the Lorain County League, and that's going to set up a huge matchup week 5 between those 2 teams. Now, we could not do the show this week without talking about Illyria Catholic and the Panthers' huge 27-0 win over rival Bay. That's my bad, EC. I looked at the picks, and after week 1, that loss to Illyria, I went with Bay this week, but you absolutely proved me wrong. And if we thought maybe week 1 against Illyria with the rain, the Panthers looked a little lost, well, they certainly knew where they were this week. Quarterback Steven Navolinsky, who did have some trouble week 1, the rain was not working in his favor. Receivers couldn't really hold on to the ball. He pushed all that aside. 15 for 22, 170 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 of them right away to Jarrett France for an early 14-0 lead, and the Panthers never looked back. They needed this win, a big bounce back after a really tough loss to Illyria in week 1. And it wasn't just the quarterbacks, the receivers, it was a well-rounded game for the Panthers. They ran all over the place. The defense came to play. It was a big, big win for a team that needed to bounce back to finish the second half of the season strong heading into the postseason. Now let's check the scores from around the county. From week 3, we had Clearview, an overtime winner over Wellington, 26-20, a Lorain County League win for the Clippers. In Avon, 49-14 over North Ridgeville, the Eagles, undefeated still this season in SWC play, and the team to beat as we continue on this season. Brunswick picks up a 44-19 win over Illyria. We have Avon Lake blanking Midview, 42-0. And Firelands, same score, 42-0 over Brookside. And finally, a Saturday afternoon game, Columbia wins 43-6 over Oberlin. So for the second week in a row, I had some trouble picking our First Federal Savings of Lorain Team of the Week. Again, a handful of teams up for grabs. Any number of them could have come away with the honor, but I had to give it up to Illyria Catholic, bouncing back after a week 1 loss and really coming through in all facets of the game, looked really, really strong against rival Bay. And, you know, they deserve it. I didn't pick you, EC. That's my bad. So this week, Illyria Catholic is our First Federal Savings of Lorain Team of the Week. Looking ahead, we have a ton of great games coming to you live, broadcasted by WEOL this week on the radio and on Stream 1. Another big Lorain County League matchup. We have Wellington at Columbia. On Stream 2, you can find Firelands at Clearview. And for our Medina County matchup this week, on Stream 3, we have Buckeye at Illyria Catholic. And you can catch all those games on WEOL and WEOL.com. All right, that wraps up our week 3 show of the Blitz, halfway through the regular season, if you can believe that. We'll have so much more to talk about next week as we recap week 4 and another exciting week of Lorain County high school football. For all of us here at the Blitz, for my partner Kristen Bauer behind the camera, I'm Marissa McNeese with the Chronicle Telegram, and we'll see you next week.